guys, welcome back to the Laid Back Homestead. If you're new here, I'm Crystal, and we have some garden chores to do today, mainly dealing with compost. And so I thought, because I haven't really talked about how I do my compost, I can't do the traditional compost system with the bays and the turning and all of that. It's just not possible on my property here. I don't think I would have an issue as far as the HOA goes, but due to my soil having the bacterial wilt, it's just not a risk that I'm willing to take. I can't have anything openly touching the ground and then go and contaminate my beds. That would just be devastating. And once you've dealt with wilt once, you don't ever want to deal with it again. So I compost 4 different ways, and I wanted to show y'all exactly what that looks like. Okay. So, quite literally, the easiest way I compost is I compost in place. And what I can show you, this was a picture from the Dollar Tree. And as you can see, I put a whole bunch of holes in it. And I fill this up regularly. And I fill it up with equal parts nitrogen and carbon. So if I come out with food scraps, you're also going to see me coming out with toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls. It all goes in together. I have never had an issue with this. Even though these beds are not open to the ground, I still get worms in here. At first I thought I was going to have to buy worms, and I did buy a couple sets of red wiggler worms from the pet shop and put them around, until I realized that I didn't have to do that. My beds were getting worms in them without my assistance. So now I just put the food in and leave it at that. And if this gets too full, I will scoop in and spread it around. I mean, it's basically just vermicompost at that point. But this has worked. I have never had a problem with things getting into here, trying to get in here. I've never had an issue so far with it burning my plants or anything like that. So this is one way that I do it. Now, I loved composting in place so much in my other beds, I decided to implement the same process in my grow bags. The issue is I really didn't want to go out and buy pitchers to do that. And the pitchers were a little large. I mean, they would have taken up a lot of space in the bags. And because I do the whole chaos garden thing, I need a lot of space. So what I did was I started taking my kids' juice containers or leftover 2 liters, cutting them in half, putting the holes in them, shove that in there, and it's the same process. I just simply come around every so often and compost in place. This is a volunteer. That's several volunteers. Isn't that sweet? You can see, come in with food scraps, come in with some form of carbon. Typically toilet paper rolls is what I have the most of. I have 4 children. So, never a lack of toilet paper rolls. And this is just a cheaper alternative than even going to the Dollar Tree, because at this point, this was just going in the trash can anyway. May as well reuse and recycle. Now, this is a compost tumbler that I've had for years, and I do still utilize it. I do like it. I use it for much larger things that I can't really compost in place. So things like potatoes, where you potentially could have them even take over your beds, I'll put in here, or, broccoli stalks, just really thicker and heavier things that would take up too much space in my beds to compost in place, I will put in here. Now, my only issue with my poor tumbler, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but this is completely ready to be used. Some people would look for it to be a lot more broken down, but the way that I look at it is, if you have seeds sprouting, which I do, then it's safe enough to go out in your garden bed. And I've utilized it that way, and I've never had an issue, again, with it burning. The side is still actively working. Pleasant. In fact, I'm about to fill it up with some things, including a bag of potatoes, so I'm not going to close that. Down here I have a bucket where I catch the leachate from when I water, because I do come in if it's been really dry and I will spray it down with the hose. Typically when I fill this up, I don't come out here this is not an everyday thing for me. It's when I've saved up enough food scraps that are big enough to throw in there, I'll come out and put it. I also put dryer lint in here. I don't know if everybody knows you can compost lint, dryer lint, but you can. Again, for me, gardening is about experimenting and taking risks. Another way that I compost is with my worm tower, which I have here. I've had this now for quite a while as well. And I've been feeding them. They're going to town right now. I've got quite a lot going on in here. I don't know if y'all can see them wiggling around. This tray I'm not going to keep feeding. Move this over. Ever since the last feed, I'm letting this finish up. This is soon going to be harvested. Isn't that glorious? I love it. I love it. This is by far my favorite way. I'm sorry, it really is. I know it's weird. I could do a whole video just on my worms. And you know, if you know someone, or if you have, you know, young boys who like to fish, this is a great way to breed your own worms. They breed very quickly. Yep. And I've yet to have an issue with them running away from me. So that's good. But when I go to roll this over and you know, harvest the castings, I will make a video of that, because it really is just fun for me. But now, because this is obviously not ready for me to utilize, this is obviously not ready for me to utilize, so I'm not going to be harvesting this today. I just wanted to show it because I kind of had forgotten for a second, as I fed them a while ago and they're still working on everything, but they're doing good. They're getting close. So I'm gonna just put them back. And the last way that I compost is with one of those indoor composters. The machines makes compost. It's really just your kitchen scraps that it dehydrates and grinds up for you. So it is a nice fluffy texture, but it hasn't actually been broken down much other than dehydrated. But I've done it in another video. I go out and I just take handfuls of this. I rotate around my garden. Who gets some of this, who doesn't. This batch is going to my bags, fire pit bags. So that is how I will utilize that. I typically get a batch a day, give or take how much I cook during the week. And then here, this is all bags of food scraps that I have, and this is dryer lint going in the tumbler. But this is all bags of food scraps. Most of this is going to be composted and placed directly in my towers, and whatever I don't utilize will go into my tumbler. So one of the things I like to do, I like to soak whatever cardboard I'm using. Just helps it break down faster before I go and compost that in place. Whatever I have left over, if I have any left over, I just throw in the large tumbler, or I give it to the worms if they look like they're in short order and need more cardboard or paper in there. But I also have a bag of shredded papers that I use with my worm farm too. So they kind of have everything they need right now. They're looking good. So let's go ahead and get to composting. So first you're going to see that I'm going to come in with the pre-compost, which is basically just my nitrogen source. And then I will walk off and come back with the wet paper towel and toilet paper rolls, which will be my carbon source. And I'm just putting that in my compost in place bottles that I have in my grow bag system. So that's what it looks like when I'm done. Just go around, that's the pre-compost from my inside composter. Fill up these little areas. What I like about this too is that I can come out and put like granular fertilizer or whatever in there, and I feel like the plant will go to it when it needs it, and I'm not just like broadcasting it all over. So that's exciting. These 2 bags right now do not have the compost in place system yet. I'm waiting for these things to finish up. I mean, this is carrots, they're pretty much ready. The onions are getting there too. I'll be yanking all that out, and then before I replant these bags, I'm gonna put in those systems. Same thing, this is beets and potatoes. So once the potatoes die back, everything's coming out and it'll get its system put in place too. So here you can see I'm coming in with a whole bag of potatoes, and I'll come back with some dryer land. I wanted to say, I don't intentionally buy food to waste it. That was actually given to me by my husband's boss. She was riding in a local parade where they throw out vegetables. I can't remember if it was the St. Patrick's Day parade or the Irish Italian parade, but either way, she did not get around to throwing those potatoes at the parade, so she gave them to me to compost. And there I just went in with the dryer lint. And now I'm coming in with the hose to give that just a quick water down, since I did add in some dry things. The potatoes will produce a little bit of moisture, but not enough and not quickly enough for the tumbler. And lastly, you just give it a good tumble around. That's all that's needed. And over time, it will break down into compost. Okay. Alrighty, try to steady y'all. It's dripping. A little of that leachate out, and yes, I do use that. No reason not to. Never had a problem with it hurting anything. So here you'll see, much like my grow bags, I'm going in first with food scraps and then with the carbon source. And so it's similar to the pre-compost, but it takes up more space because it's the whole foods going in rather than something that's been dehydrated and pulverized. And if you'll notice, I'm not necessarily going in order in these beds. Especially when it comes to the food scraps, I kind of look and see what's already in the worm tower, who may be full, have more in there, and basically what needs what. And I pick and choose what food scraps to put where. Now I just come around and do that every so often. Can't really say it's difficult. Certainly can't argue with the results though. Well, thanks guys for hanging out with me. I hope this takes some of the intimidation out of composting, especially if you can't do a more traditional compost bay setting. This is just 4 ways that I've circumvented not having a compost bay set up in my yard. 2 of them were a little bit more costly, the tumbler, but I have had it for years, as well as the indoor composter. Those 2 are the most costly, but really you don't need to do any of that. Just compost in place. And if you don't, even if you don't want to deal with making towers, you don't have to do that either. When I set up row C, which I set up this year, halfway through putting the dirt in, laid out the kitchen scraps and cardboard right in the middle of the beds. It doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be scary. So I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. Until next time, have a great day.